Hello, and welcome to another episode of Break the Cycle. Me, your host, Joshua Smith. Hope everyone's having a wonderful whatever the hell it is. What is it?
It's a Thursday.
Is it Thursday?
Yeah,
it's Thursday.
Absolutely.
So we're here.
Thursday.
I'm just having a rough one. We did take Halloween off. We didn't have a guest lined up. I had a lot of shit going on, so we took the Halloween day off. But we do have a great show for you tonight, and then an awesome show as well on Monday, where we'll have 4 candidates running from around the country to vie for positions, different positions. So we'll be doing like a pre-game election day show on Monday, because election day is Tuesday. That's going to be cool, because we're going to have Shane Hazel, who's running for governor of Georgia. We're going to have Jeremy Kauffman, who's running for U.S. Senate in New Hampshire. We're going to have my good friend Dennis Mizagoy, who's running for U.S. Senate against Marco Rubio in Florida, and Matt Hackenberg, who's running for Pennsylvania governor as well. So all 4 of them will be on the show. That's going to be a fucking fun show. And we're just going to talk shit about politics. And it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. But happy to be here, guys. I'm happy to be home. Happy to be hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much for spending your Thursday evening with me. I just got done with 2 12s in a row, so I get the weekend off. It's my weekend off. No work Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week. So I'm going to play video games tonight when I'm done with the show in my man cave. Check out our sponsors, of course, toplobster.com, the man, the myth, the legend, my good friend and partner on Break the Cycle, where you can get this. Actually, I think you can still get this shirt on Top Lobster if you look up Break the Cycle's 100th episode anniversary shirt. This actually has the art from every single guest that was on the first 100 shows, including my mother. Hand-drawn picture of my mother on here. It's a really cool shirt, and you can get it in all kinds of cool colors. Of course, I got it purple because I like the purple shit. That's how I roll. But you can use BTC at checkout to get a 10% discount, or you can join the Patreon, subscribe star, become a member of the YouTube channel under all my videos by hitting the join link, where you can get into a private Discord server, mostly moderated by Ryan. I pop in from time to time. And all kinds of other really cool people in there. And get all of Top Lobster's new gear up to 2 weeks before it goes to the general public at a 30% discount. So, if you're doing $5 to $10 a month on the Patreon, please do $5 to $10 a month on the Patreon, or more if you want. And you are buying new Top Lobster gear, you're actually saving money in the long run, and you're supporting both of us. So it's a win-win for everybody, really, truly. And of course, executive producer of the show, anthemplanning.com, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Check them out today, see what they can do for your business, home, or personal life. They're doing a wonderful job of that the government has historically sucked at, much cheaper and much more efficiently. They help organizations solve unsolvable problems in the technology and HR arenas. Their team leads by example. Anthem consultants have led their own organizations through demanding periods of change. Now they help clients succeed in the face of technology and personnel challenges, not personal challenge. Although, knowing Amy Lepore, probably she would help you through some personal challenges too, if you were hiring her to help you with her other things. With your other things for your business, because that's just who she is, man. She's a great person, and they're a great company, and I believe in them, and that's why I want to help them get some more customers from my show, because they're great, and they actually have people who have signed up with them through my show. So
let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, executive producer of the show, Colwell Creative Content, specializing in things like SEO, website design, optimized website content writing, optimized blog posts, copywriting, and social media management. Newsletter writing and design, ghostwriting and editing services, resume and cover letter writing. They worked with all kinds of clients, including real estate, addiction treatment, mental health, healthcare, banking, and payment processing. And they've worked with just about every industry, even in libertarian political candidates and influencers, such as my good friend and mentor, Mr. Larry Sharp. So if they're good enough for Larry Sharp, I promise you they're good enough for you. Plus, they're just wonderful people, man. They could really, they've helped. They've been in business since 2012. They've helped hundreds of clients, but they'll add some more and help you out and get you in front of your target audience. So go check them out today if you can. And of course, I hit the wrong button. Showed AJ just sitting there in his fucking... That was great, dude. I liked that a lot. I should just from now on pan to AJ when I'm reading the sponsorships, because it was way funnier than just looking at me. There's no doubt. I mean, like, seriously, everybody, look at that. That's savage. Look at that. My comrade over there. And of course, new executive producer of the show, not the Blood of Tyrants. I have some new graphics for them that I need to put up, but it won't let me into the Google file. Blood of Tyrants wine. If you love Merlot and you hate tyrants, this is the wine for you, I promise you. It's really, really good stuff. Tyrants are losing their heads over this wine. It's the official spirit of 1776. It is anarchy in a bottle. And you can get that at 10% off by using break at checkout at bloodoftyrants.wine. Really good wine. I've actually had it. and I'll get some more bottles of it soon. But we got it at the national convention, man, and it was fucking stellar. Good Merlot, worth it, man. And you get the get it sent to your house. Comes right to your door. There are some places you can't order it, of course. If you can't order liquor in your state, you probably can't order it there. So unfortunately, the Ralph, he says, do they have the Ralph Northam flavor? I like it. Okay, we're going to get into the show now, but before we do, let's check in with my wonderfully haired, beautiful co-host, Mr. Ryan Kurt. Sir, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing pretty well. First of all, can I get some Yup Cox in the chat?
Yup Cox in the chat, please.
And then I do have a little bit of a bone to pick with some of these super chatters recently.
You super chatters are in trouble from Ian tonight.
You motherfuckers have been spelling my name wrong in super chats for like a month now, and I'm sick and tired of it. It's spelled with a Y, not an I.
Damn, dude. So he has laid down the gauntlet. If you're going to throw down super chats, you better spell his name right in those paid super chats, because he sees those things. And of course, my other wonderfully beautiful co-host, Mr. Badass himself from the Redacted Caucus, Mr. AJ Fisher. Sir, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm excited.
It's going to be a good show.
Excited.
I'm excited tonight too, and we got some people hanging out in the chat tonight. I think they're here for you though, AJ.
Excellent.
Yeah, they're trying to see what kind of shit you're wearing tonight. Of course, you have the Adidas tracksuit on, covering the face, official sunglasses. Adidas. He's Mr. Comrade tonight. He's a Putin propagandist tonight.
Sure.
I like it. And our guest tonight, who is amazing, who I've followed for quite some time. We've talked online a lot. I have some funny stories to tell about how we kind of first talked during the show. So that's going to be really interesting. Actually, hilarious fucking story, to me at least. And anybody else in the know, it's really funny. But she's the founder of the Redacted Caucus, the original Redacted Caucus, the real Redacted Caucus. She's Miss Jeiney LeBlanc. How are you doing tonight? Oh, you might be muted. How are you doing tonight? There you go. No, I muted you. I'm not.
Can you hear me?
No, I unmuted you because I had you muted.
Okay.
So
yes, I'm great.
Yeah, good. We're happy to have you on the show. I meant to have you on the show quite a while ago because, and I'm going to tell the story before we get into the show. A gentleman came to me when I was probably like halfway through or a little more through my first 100 episodes. Show was growing really fast. We were in the top 10% of podcasts worldwide, and it was doing some really good things. And I had seen this gentleman on Reed's show, Reed Coverdale, who's a great friend of mine. I love Reed with all my heart. And I saw him on Reed's show, and he had a seizure like mid-show. And like, fuck, it was crazy. And then Reed was nice enough to take it down. And then he came to me, and he's like, hey, man, I'd love to be on your show. I'm the founder of the Redacted Caucus, and I'd love to be on your show. And I was like, all right, cool, man. I had seen the Redacted Caucus around. I didn't know a lot about it. I knew Spike Cohen was kind of intertwined a little bit, and it had some things to do with the boys. But we can't say the other word, but we can say the boys.
Yeah, the Boogie Boys.
We can't say that on the show.
I said boogie.
It's literally the same thing. We can't say that on the show.
What? They're a disco group.
We can't say it on the show, buddy. I don't know why they like to take these videos down when you say the BOOG word, but they do. So we just say the boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get into it.
But that's okay. It's fucking every time with you, bro. Every time. Anyways, let me get back to my story.
It was disco.
Way to go, Ryan.
Jesus, fuck, dude. And so, no. Good job, buddy. We're demonetized. You rule. So he came to me, and his name was Trent, and I was like, all right, cool, man. Yeah, I'll have you on the show. I'll get Top Lobster to draw a portrait of you and all this shit. We'll get the Redacted Caucus flag going and all that. And so Top Lobster draws a picture of this guy. And Top hand draws all of you guys. Anybody who's been on this fucking show, Top Lobster hand drew you. Okay? That's a big fucking deal. You know what I mean? It's not easy for him to do, and he does it for very cheap, pretty much free for us, and has gotten a lot of other opportunities and really branched out and done a lot of great shit. He works with Odyssey. He's done shit for Legion of Skanks and Skankfest, and so he's happy with where it took him, but he's not paid, right? So he took his time and drew this guy, and it was a fucking dope picture, and I sent it to him. He goes, "Oh, I don't have a mustache in that picture." And I said, yeah, well, your fucking default picture doesn't have a mustache in it. That's the picture we took it from. He's like, well, I have a mustache now, so I'd like him to put a mustache on it. I was like, I'm just not going to go to Top Lobster and say that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he had somebody go and contact Top Lobster on his behalf. He didn't even do it himself. And he had somebody go to Top and say, hey, Trent would like you to put a mustache on this picture. And Top came to me. He's like, what the fuck is this nerd doing? Like, I've already drawn the picture. I'm not drawing a mustache. I said, no, I wouldn't expect you to. And then the guy comes to me. He's like, well, would it be okay if we drew the mustache on him?
It's just a cover page.
And at this point, I'm like, I don't even want this fucking guy on my show anymore because he's just like bitching about nothing. You know what I mean? And so the day before we're going to do the show, maybe it was even the day of the show. I think it was the morning. I talked to Jeiney because I had seen some drama going on about who the real Redacted caucus was and all this stuff. And I've been following Jeiney and been friends with Jeiney for a long time. I mean, since what, 2019 maybe? 2018, Jeiney? Somewhere around there, right? And so I reached out to her and she told me the whole story that he fucking like basically wanted to help, left his little hibiscus flower shit behind, and started up with the Redacted caucus, and then basically just stole everything and said that he was the fucking founder and tried to get rid of her. And so I went back to him nicely because I was like, well, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I'm not going to have this guy on my show. I'd rather have Jeiney on the show first to talk about this. And so I went to him politely and was like, look, hey man, I can't do the show. I got some other things going on. Let's talk next week and we'll see about rescheduling or whatever. I was very nice about it. And then he came and started talking shit to me in the email. Like, you're a fucking pussy and all this. I probably still have the emails from him. I probably should have put it on the screen. He started talking all this shit, calling me names and shit, having his little boys talk shit about me. And I'm like, first of all, dude, you don't fucking scare me at all. At all, dude. You were fucking butthurt about a mustache on a drawing, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not afraid of you at all. Trust me, I don't give a shit. So I reached back out to Jeiney and said, we got to do a show. And we just never got around to it. So I'm happy to have her on. But that was my foray into all this stuff with the Redacted caucus because I didn't know much about it prior to that.
And I popped up right in the middle of that. It was shortly after that where you had him scheduled and I came on the show the first time. Well, wasn't it?
And so yeah, you no, this was way this was what, Jeiney, over a year and a half ago.
Way before.
Oh.
Yeah, at least
about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, about a year and a half ago this happened.
So this is back in 20 almost.
It was like end of 2020. Yeah. Because I started no. I started the show March of 2021.
Okay.
And it was
the very beginning.
Yeah, it was close to the beginning of the show.
Got it.
Because I'd been done with him for a while.
Well, and I think that I think that I didn't know what was going on. And it probably had already been going on for quite some time. I just wasn't aware because my head wasn't in that space at the time. Now I know more about the caucus and you guys. And of course, AJ lives fucking 10 minutes away from me and we've talked about it and I've had him on the show. Now he's a co-host on the show. So we talk about it, but this was, well over a year and a half ago. And this has all kind of come to a head now from what I understand. And the feds have now shown up at Jeiney's house over all this shit. So, but before we get into that, why don't you explain in your words how, the caucus started and how this kind of war started between you and him and all that stuff?
Okay. So, the caucus was an idea I came just in the back of my head during the leading up to the 2020 elections. The movement was growing really fast and I was excited about it and I just thought it was a great idea and I was trying to hold it back. And I told a couple people locally and I was just not trying to talk about it. And I wanted to get through the election because I was the regional organizer for that campaign. So I had a lot going on. And the day I met Spike Cohen, I was sitting down having lunch with him at a event and I brought it up to him and he thought it was a great idea. And so he said, you should do it. And I was like, I'm going to do it. So this was just a few days before the election. We were already into early voting and I started putting it together and it was really exciting. So many people wanted to be involved. It was great. And so that's how we kind of got started. So back to my local boys group, I mention what I'm doing and a few people were really just unsure because they just are totally apolitical, want nothing to do with politics at all. But I mentioned it to Trent and he was very supportive. He's like, no, bring it up to everybody, let them know what you're doing, side projects, blah blah blah. So I do, and I've got people interested, but I wasn't trying to bring those two together. They were separate.
Sure.
So then he starts having issues with all with personal stuff and decides he wants to get out of the movement and just wants to focus on the party. So he tells me he wants to really help me with the caucus, and that's great. Yes, as much help as possible. So that's how he and I started really working together on that. He left the Hibiscus Society and just wanted to work with me.
Sure.
So then we were working great together. Things were going well, and he just started getting more and more controlling, and I'd already had warnings about him that I kind of ignored. And
it's like when you meet a pretty girl and you just run through the red flag forest. Like it's not happening.
He's charismatic, and a lot of people will, say that. Like I just kind of overlooked what people were saying, and nothing. I didn't hear anything really bad about him. So, and he was willing to do work. So yeah, let him. And just he was getting really controlling and crazy, and I would go back to messages from people and what they were saying, and I just decided we can't do this. Before we get further into it, that's it. And so after I told him that, he just flipped out, and from there on, it was just crazy.
Yeah, so I remember when this was all going on, there was like just constant snipes and people writing fucking 12 paragraph posts on Facebook and trying to talk shit and trying to like go back and forth about who started this and how it was really handled, and she stole money and he did this and she did this and all this, and it was like, what the fuck is really going on? And that was honestly the reason why I was like, you can't come on the show. I have to get this figured out. I'm not going to have you on the show blabbing your shit when my friend is saying something different. You know what I mean? And then of course he started calling me a pussy. I was like, well, now he'll never come on the fucking show. You know what I mean? Like I don't let people who talk shit like that up to me.
That would have been an interesting show.
Yeah, I would have called him a fucking nerd and kicked him off, just like I did John Hudak. You know what I mean? And that's what I did to John Hudak. We talked all this shit about me, and then he thought he was going to come on my show and try to debate me. No, dude. I'm going to bring you on the show and make fun of you and kick you off.
Throw them off and bring in Tower Power Hour?
I did, yeah. I had Dickie built a whole fucking like an intro with the Undertaker music, and it started like lightning flashing, and there was like opaque scenes from the Tower Power Hour podcast pop up on the screen, and then all of a sudden it like cleared and they were all in the room around John, and John was like, what the fuck? And they were like, we muted him and just called him a bunch of names and threw him off and had a whole episode with Tower Power Hour. It was beautiful. I would have done something similar to Trent because he's not worthy of a debate. Yeah. And I don't want to hear him tell me a bunch of shit after he's talked all that kind of shit to me. You know what I mean? Was that similar to you? I mean, was he talking a lot of shit to you personally too?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was bad. And so what he decided to do was just try to continue on without me and take everything. He took the logos, the name. That's when he started getting crazy about the podcast. He was reaching out to everyone. And I was trying to stay quiet through this. I didn't want confrontation. Definitely didn't want his name out there. This is the first time I have ever said anything, especially mentioned his name publicly. I didn't want anyone knowing a thing about him because he is nobody. I've kept quiet this entire time. The first big podcast he went on, I didn't say anything to that person. I was upset about it, but I didn't let it get to
me.
Reed.
That was probably Reed's show, right?
No. Oh. This is before that. Reed was next. The first one, Reed, we're going to get to that because Reed called me in the middle of that. No, it was Adam Kokesh.
Oh,
and
Jesus fuck.
Adam and I have talked about it since, and Adam's like, oh, it's hilarious. Like, I should have had you on the show right after.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the big one he got on, and I was just shocked he got on it. And then I was like, maybe I do need to say something.
Well, let's be honest. Adam's show is not that big anymore, and he's definitely scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Anymore, but at the time it was.
Yeah.
That's
maybe I should go on.
At the time it was. That's
when he was campaigning, he had a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
There was a lot more momentum on him.
Right. Well, this was right after he was campaigning, so this was still during election time.
Yeah.
So he had a lot of he was pretty big at that time. That was probably his peak. So I was upset. Well, then before I could even think any further, I'm at home one night making dinner, and It's just chaos in my house, helping kids with homework. I'm cooking. It's loud.
Yeah, you have almost as many kids as I have, right?
I'm one short. I have got 6. And yeah, we are very close. That's why you and I bond so well.
Sure.
Yeah. So the phone rings. I don't ever answer my phone that time of day. Like, I'm unavailable during that time usually. And especially if it's an unknown number, but for some reason I answered it. And it's this guy, and he tells me the name, and I'm like, I kind of heard the name, but then he tells me why he's calling. And it's about Redacted caucus. And he's got Trent there on, like, he doesn't know what to do. He's freaking out. All he knows is Trent lives in Texas. And he Googled the Redacted caucus and he found me. And Trent and I, at this point, hate each other. I want nothing to do with him. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, I didn't want to do anything, but I was text his ex-wife, and then another friend we had that was somewhat local to him so that they could get an ambulance there, whatever. Like, I did the right thing, that I wanted nothing to do with it.
Right.
So after that, and that's how I met Reed and got to know who he is and his show that I enjoy and all that. So you were the next one that pops up, and I hear, and I'm like, no, we're done. I can't do this. And I was just so upset. And that's when I messaged you.
Right.
And it wasn't just a short message. I was sending you all kinds of stuff. Like, I wanted you to see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you sent me like a fucking like a file folder of shit.
Yeah, like all the proof, like screenshots of every conversation, proving everything I was saying, because I'm like, no. And you were like, just, okay, let's slow down. Let me check it out. I'll postpone it. And yeah. So in the middle of this, while he's, he was able to get on to your show,
No, he was not able to get on my show, actually. He
Well,
never,
no,
never
I'm saying that when he was able to connect with you and try to.
Right.
Like, it was planned. So he is bugging Spike Cohen nonstop for months. Him and his organizer, Brian.
Does he think the Jews control the media or something?
We can't talk about that. Yeah. So he will not leave them alone. Well, Spike and I are friends. Spike knows the story about what's going on, and Brian and I are even closer. So Brian decides to actually help out. He can't stand Trent, but he talks Trent out of dropping the name Redacted Caucus. And this was huge for me, because I don't care what he's doing. I could care less. You can have an organization that does the exact same thing. Do not use our name. Do not use our logos. Don't use the flag. Just make your own thing. Go away. Don't bother me. Go find your own people. So that meant so much to me. And that's when Trent created his own organization that I don't think lasted more than a couple weeks or something.
Yeah, he didn't strike me as a very intelligent person who could run an organization. Honestly. He really didn't strike me as that type. He was kind of like when I was watching him on Clint or on Reed's show before I did my show, I was like, wow, this guy's fucking boring. And I talked to Reed about it. And even I shouldn't say this, but Reed was even like, yeah, it's fucking boring, dude. I was bored until he had the seizure, of course, and then like flipped out of his fucking chair, and like then it got a little exciting.
Got some views.
It got pretty funny. I don't know.
I never watched it. I still have not watched that. I probably need to.
It's not up. I mean, you have to get it privately. You have to get it privately. You have to get it privately. I begged Reed to put it back out, but he just Reed is too nice for his own good. As terrible as some people think he is, he's too good. He's too nice for his own good.
That's so weird that Reed is like so nice as he's blasting an interview through a megaphone.
Call his wife, message his wife, and what she says back to me, ex-wife, but they were off and on. What she says, I'm not expecting to hear. Like, I thought she would have concern at least. She says, that's your problem. And I'm like, what? And she knows he hates me. And she's like, that's y'all's problem, the movement. Like, that's, I don't want anything to do with it. And I was like, look, this is happening right now. I don't want to deal with it either, but I'm trying to do the right thing. I know you don't want your kid's dad to die, So that starts this open dialogue between us, but I don't have time for her. I wish I would have made more time for her a little bit, but so she starts sending me messages and giving me all kinds of information. She needed to get it out. She needed to vent.
Yeah, someone needed to
and I would get these long messages. I would skim them over, lots of information. And I wish I could go back, but I lost, my original Facebook account.
We all did.
Yeah, we all did. There was a lot of information in there that she gave me that I didn't get into a lot of, but it was probably good for her to get it out. I wish I'd paid a little more attention. But apparently what triggered that seizure was a problem throughout their marriage and his life, and
drugs.
It could have been avoided. So
I kind of had this feeling that he had a drug problem.
Yeah,
and that was what created it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it felt like to me. I never got any confirmation of that until just right now. But I can tell you.
Not only did I get confirmation. She was sending me pictures of things she found, and she was upset. I mean, sure. She was upset because he had picked up their daughter from the daycare, and that's when she was finding stuff. So she needed to vent that day, and that's my interaction with him. That's it. But until yesterday, this goes back further, though. There were issues before me, and that's what I was mentioning earlier. There were red flags. There were people warning me. No one was giving me details. They were trying to do the right thing. Just a little warning there, and hope I would listen. And
he's a little glowy, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I wasn't picking it up until he and I had the falling out, and then people started really reaching out to me and telling me things. And most of it I didn't want to hear, though. We know, that's it. Okay, I want nothing to do with him. And then especially once, he changed the name, I was done. Spike didn't want to have him on the show. You didn't want to have him on the show. Dan Berman, who I introduced him to, was distancing himself. We were done. It was great. Everything was fine. I did have someone that had been trying to reach out to me for a while. This all ended over a year and a half ago. So right out a year ago, I finally got in contact with the first person he screwed over, Chris Hunter. So he was big in the movement a while back, and he's local to Trent. And I'd known of him. We kind of had connections before him and Trent had issues. And so he had been, like I said, trying to reach out to me. And about a year ago, he and I finally connected. And we had a great phone call, messages. And he kind of told me a bit about his situation. And that was that. It was great to hear, to know. And I moved past it. And I was just pretending like he didn't exist. He was just gone. We were done. Let's move on with life. And until yesterday, I don't even know what time it was. I immediately posted on Facebook, but late morning, early afternoon, doorbell rings. I usually don't even answer the door in the middle of the day. And for some reason, I did. And the screen is locked. I've got a heavy iron screen in front of my regular door, and these two guys, they introduced themselves, and they are with FBI, and they're like, "Can we talk to you a few minutes?" And I was like, "No." They're like, "We can't. You're not in any trouble." And I was like, "We can talk like this." And they're like, "Okay, that's good." So they talk a little bit. What they do, they check up on threats, and more than anything, I'm in shock. I didn't handle the situation like I would have. I would have been expecting it, of course. I should have automatically started recording on my phone, but I didn't. Doorbell camera recorded a bit. So they finally get to the point of why they're there. They pull out a folded up piece of paper printed on a computer with a picture. And I look at it and I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, is that, I didn't even say the name. And they're like, yeah. And I said, that's Trent. And they said, yes, that's Trent. And I was like, that's why you're here. And they said, yeah, we heard about you from him. And they're like, we're just looking for more information on him and, how you know him and how you're connected to him. And then I just can't stop laughing. And I was like, we can talk. Do you want to come inside? And so after that, I invited them in, and I believe they were very disappointed in what I had to say. I couldn't give them anything. I mean, I don't have anything on me, on Trent, on anyone else. So I told them my whole interaction, a much briefer version than I've said on here so far. But so they were like, so your problems with him basically are about marketing. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's all I cared about. And like, okay. And that was it. But I've had people question me quite a bit, and it's like they're not believing me that they mentioned his name.
Right.
Not only did they mention his name and picture.
They showed you a fucking picture of the guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, they gave me their number before they left. So this was the piece of paper. I mean, that's corner is what's left of the picture, but like, they brought me a printed out picture of him. And who else is going to do that?
And why would you even say that, like, over almost like a year and a half later?
Right. I don't want that. I don't want his name out here. I don't like doing this right now. I never publicly said anything about him.
Well, you should like doing this, because when people are giving your name to the feds, other people that might be closely aligned with your movement probably want to know who it is.
Yeah.
Right,
so that they can stay the fuck away from that person.
Correct.
The person in the photo wasn't Trent. It was his twin brother, Brent.
Long enough, and people need to stay away from him. And like I said, this was not the first time. So then we go back to that conversation I had a year ago with the other guy. And he had given their information to the feds. And I knew a little bit about that. And so that was in the back of my head. Well, I made a post on Facebook right after this happened, because people need to know. And I'm immediately getting comments and calls and texts. And I get a text from Chris Hunter. And I don't even remember what he said, but it's something about, he knew about the status. And so I guess someone had seen it and texted him. And so I was like, you know what? I want to get more information. I want to get details. Like, I need the story. And so he and I talked. Well, I had told him that I'd talk to you and I was going to be on here. And I need details. Like, I want to know, did they tell you that, did they mention his name when for sure it was him that routed you out too? And so apparently there were several people. And I don't know why they used his name and just didn't come to me and come to them and say that there was a threat about us. But we assumed that Trent pissed them off and they wanted to dox him. They wanted us to know. They wanted everyone to know that he's the one doing this.
Right. Well, and I think, this is a big deal, right? If these are feds, mm-hmm. and you got a guy who's trying to claim that he's a, anti-Fed, like, fucking guy who's giving names to the federal agencies. I mean, we're talking about, this is a big fucking no-no, right? And this isn't
it's a very big deal. Like,
right.
FBI didn't just show up.
And the sad thing is this isn't the only case of this, right? I mean, we know, we had Brandon Concerta on the show, and we talked about something similar where, there was people that were fucking giving names and trying to set people up. And also we were talking about the guy
he actually is who came through my head when I'm standing at the door and they're there. I had talked to him earlier yesterday morning. So, like, that's why I wouldn't unlock my screen. That's why I wouldn't talk to them, because Brandon did nothing wrong and he was in jail for how long? I mean, look what he's gone through.
Yeah, the guy went through immense.
I'm not opening my door.
He went through immense crazy shit. I mean, like, legitimately held without a trial for over a year. And I mean, this is crazy shit, dude. So
they're showing up at my door. I'm not unlocking the door. They better have a warrant. I mean, I'm not going to walk outside.
Well, and this isn't the first time. This isn't the first time this has happened in the supposed boys movement either, right? So we had the guy who was like basically one of the founders of the boys, right? who has
Homelander.
Yeah, well, that you know, all the militias, all the militia type movements in the United States, when the FBI came out with their leaked list of the was it domestic violent extremists? You know, libertarians were mentioned, Oath Keepers were mentioned, 3% mentioned, all these different groups in the movement, the B movement. You know, you got to wonder, when they weaponize the FBI against patriotic Americans, they go after everybody. It's a very wide net.
Right.
So when you see these people busted, it's all these people from, I don't know what they have on Trent. Obviously, they have something on Trent.
Well, and we just got some new a new update here in the chat. Someone says Inmate Finder says he's currently in jail in Bell County Central Jail in Benton, Texas.
There you go. So there's your explanation.
So he's been picked up.
They're squeezing him.
Yeah.
I heard that there was he's been in military court recently. There's someone that reached out to someone that it got to me today that he was in a military court and he was trying to get an advocate, and these people are volunteers that help, you know, the military in the court. And they knew who he was, and no one wanted to advocate for him. No one wanted, something was going on.
Yeah.
Don't know what it was, but it makes perfect sense.
Well, now there's so much more to this story. I mean, that we don't even know. Like, why is he in jail?
Oh, yeah.
Why is he in jail? Does anyone know? Hey, whoever's dropped that in the chat, I think
we can look that up. I mean, someone can look that up right now.
Yeah, if you could find the charges, I'd like to know why he's in jail.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
what county is that?
Benton County.
Okay, someone.
Bell County Central Jail in Benton, Texas.
Can someone do that for us real quick? Because I don't want to do it.
Yeah, if you guys can find out why he's.
I mean, I found all his divorce records and legal stuff, and
if you can find out why he's in jail, we'd like to know for sure. Because there's something sinister going on here, because he's rolling over on people and he's in jail. So you guys, I mean, anybody who's ever been in a fucking Signal chat with this guy is now, or Telegram or any of that shit, is now going to need to be worried and on their guard, because if you've ever said anything to this guy that could be construed as threatening.
Yeah, your chat might be included in that giant dump.
Yeah, your chat's coming out, and it's going to go to the federal agents, and they're going to know, because this guy's obviously a fucking punk bitch who's scared and is ratting people out. Now, I'm from a place where that kind of shit is not tolerated, right? And that's not a freedom movement where I'm from. That's called a hood, right? You don't do that kind of shit where I'm from. I could only imagine when you're in a militia or a group of people who are hell-bent on liberty and freedom and gun groups, and you're rolling over on people that can get life in prison for terroristic threats or terroristic whatever. Like, you have to be worried now about what's going on. What you've said.
You make a plan to do something, and they can put you away for life. It's serious.
It's not only a dumb move on Trent's part, but now he's burns all these bridges, and now it's also a selfish act.
Yeah,
he thought about no one but himself, so he's probably obviously trying to get himself out of some trouble.
And needless to say, nobody in the movement's ever going to take him seriously. And it's just like, what's the guy's name, dude? The guy that was like one of the original boys and is now works in a jail.
Mike. I think we were discussing Mike Dunn. Mike Dunn came up on Facebook.
Oh my God.
So he was like one of the original.
He popped up in the chat.
He was like one of the original boys, right?
Oh, is he here?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he was commenting on my stuff, on my post yesterday, and then he and I had conversation.
Yeah, I saw him talking shit on your post, and then I saw another old school boy on there talking shit back to him, saying you ratted people out, and now you work in a fucking jail, and he's like, well, I'm just trying to change it from the inside to see what I can. No, motherfucker.
Yeah, there's people that say he could be involved with the federal authorities,
and he's one of the people who started the fucking boys movement. I mean, he's one of the original
he was
guys.
Like he was one that inspired me. He's my daughter's age. I mean, and seeing what he was doing, like, I was fascinated by him. I interviewed him.
He's like a baby, right? Like, he's young.
Yeah, he just turned 22. My daughter turns 22 next month. So yeah, I like someone that's doing this at that age, you know, a couple years ago. I reached out to him. Like, I was fascinated. I wanted to know more about him and what he was doing. And how he was impacting and creating, inspiring people.
Right.
And yeah, it didn't go well.
Yeah, well, and that's what I've heard is he's rolled over on people and gave people's names, and he's one of the fucking founders of this movement. And what's even crazy, so like this has like real world implications, which is people don't understand this. But Duncan Limp was a fucking boy.
Yeah.
Okay? Now I'm a
Yeah, this isn't all online. It's real life.
There's a real life implications to this. Now I'm not.
Yeah.
I talked about this when I had you on the show, AJ, and I've had other people that were involved in the movement, Magnus, of course, and some others, and I'm very supportive of the Boog movement. Oop, I said
you always have been. Yes,
I've always been supportive,
been.
and
Yes.
I got Hawaiian shirts in my closet right now. Okay, and I've never like said I am a boy, and I'm probably not ever going to say that just because of the fucking implications.
You don't
and the
have
shit
to.
that has been.
You don't have to.
Well, no, it's listen. The shit that,
Redacted caucus. All we want is people that support. Like we're here to support them.
You have to understand, like,
and everyone that supports.
Like I railed hard on this Duncan Limp shit, right? Like this motherfucker was asleep in his bed and was fucking assassinated by the police.
Correct.
Okay, sleeping in his bedroom, assassinated. We just saw 3 boys from the movement today got arrested. We got people like Brandon Concerta going to jail for over a year without a fucking trial for something that he didn't even do. There's real world implications to this.
We got some missing too. Someone you mentioned earlier. I don't want to spread rumors or bring things up that I don't have proof on, but someone you mentioned that's important in the movement is missing.
Yes.
Missing. Yes,
completely missing. I'm aware of that as well.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's things are going on. It's scary.
Yeah, wow. Missing. So, but also you have to understand that missing for Magnus could just mean that they finally got one of his last 1 or 2.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Magnus has been removed from everything. They won't let Magnus have a food delivery app. I mean, they've taken him off fucking everything. He can't use DoorDash. They killed his PayPal, his Venmo, his fucking, I mean, everything they could take from him is Coinbase, dude. He can't trade cryptocurrency. So there's real world implications to this shit. So if you're going to get involved in this fucking movement and open your fat fucking mouth about other people, expect those people to be looking for you eventually, dude, because you can get them killed. You can get their source of income taken away from them.
Easily.
You can get them arrested. You can get them in jail for a long fucking time. And we know what the federal government does to people that they want to make
and
a fucking.
They have families too.
Well, listen, you know what the federal government does to people they want to make an example of. Look at Ross Ulbricht. We talk about him on the show all the fucking time. Look at Julia Assange.
That's the
worst.
That is the worst example. It's the saddest thing that's ever happened.
They want to make an example of you. Trust me when I say that the federal government wants to make an example of any boy they can find and pick up for any reason. If they could get you on a fucking driving offense, they're going to find a way to put you in jail. So if you're stupid enough to get involved and then open your fat fucking mouth, I have no remorse for you whatsoever. No remorse. If you have joined the Boys Association of Hawaiian Shirts, okay, you shouldn't even be telling your fucking family members at this point.
Correct.
You should not say a fucking word about it. You should stay.
The less they know, the better.
You should shut the fuck up. Do your things in person. Don't fucking put a bunch of shit in chat. And fucking, organize. Because we need an organized arm that is saying we're not going to take this shit anymore. I believe that. And I've talked about it on the show a lot. I don't advocate violence, okay? But I do advocate people saying we are not going to take any more of your shit. We're peaceful people, and we just want to be left alone, okay? I'm a fucking libertarian.
The movement is defensive. It's not offensive.
Yeah,
it's completely defensive.
But Jeiney, the FBI right now is saying this was a giant fuck you, okay? When they visited you, that was a giant fuck you. That was a signal saying, we know about you. We're watching you. We're monitoring your chats.
Of course.
We're trying to make examples of people. I get it. But we are defensive. But at this point, just being defensive and having the means to defend yourself is now offensive. That's aggressive. Standing your ground is aggressive now.
They're seeing us as,
yeah.
It's just crazy to me. Ryan, you got anything since she can't hear you? And she's going to talk over you anyways.
Yeah. I mean, this is all of this is just outside of any of the spheres I run in.
No, but you can't hear Ryan though.
Yeah.
That's why. That's what I'm saying. Oh, yeah, this is way outside.
This is just way outside. This isn't fucking books
Ryan,
and
you gotta
numbers.
know, you gotta understand. Ryan didn't have a fucking drink until he was legal age. Okay, he didn't have.
I've heard you say that before.
He didn't have
I've
sex
got
till he
friends
was
like that.
married. He's only had sex with one person. He's never done a drug in his life. He's never smoked a cigarette. We found that out before the show.
Yep.
He's never
No
smoked
cigarettes.
a cigarette. He does have cigars every once in a while now.
I've had 3 of them ever.
3 cigars
So
ever.
July 4th was the first time I had one. This past weekend, no, it's 4. This past weekend, I had 2
He
of them.
literally count the amount of tobacco devices that he smoked on one hand, and it's not even the full hand yet. So
No,
so you got to
He's
understand.
the one we're trying to talk into having kids sooner than later.
Yes, we would
trying to
like
have
for
a
him.
baby,
We would
right?
like for him to
Yes.
have kids
Yeah.
sooner than later. Exactly. He's a good. He
You
comes
will never
over.
regret it.
You have to
Never.
understand because him and his. So every Monday and Thursday. This is actually the last. This would have been the last Monday. So we're going to start doing the show on. Oh no, we do have to do one more Monday. Are you?
Yeah, that's fine.
You're okay with next Monday?
It's the 28th.
Okay, so
that thing
one
starts.
last Monday,
Yeah.
and then check this out. So we're going through this crazy fucking process right now to try and bring another child into our home. We just found out we have to do 11 weeks of classes every Thursday night.
Oh.
So we're gonna have to do like Tuesday and Friday or something.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I can roll with that.
yeah, we're gonna have to
I
change it.
talked to Julia yesterday about it.
Yeah, and we're not allowed. I'm not. Listen, I
didn't
can't talk
know-
about specifics on the show. I'm not allowed to.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I didn't know a lot of what was going on with that. Like, I see your post, I see her post, but I didn't realize what y'all are dealing with. And she and I were talking yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, I'm sure you've heard." And she started talking about it. I was like, "No, I didn't hear. I can't believe that."
Yeah,
You know,
it's really a hard process.
You're
to try
doing
and
the
do.
right thing, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a hard process to try and do
you're
what
amazing.
what we're doing. And we've actually, as much as I'm not a fan of the state, the person that we worked with in Arkansas is amazing, and she's been great. The person that we've worked with up here is amazing.
heard
And it's been
that.
great, but it's been a long process that we've been working on for 9 months, and now we're in the thick of it. And we have no other resources to allocate anywhere else because of it right now. And so that's why I'm supposed to be going down to Austin, Texas this weekend for the LNC meeting. Of course,
I was going to ask you
Yeah.
if you were coming for
no,
that.
I'm
Yeah.
not coming. I had to bow out because we just had the shit. It's like ongoing, you know what I mean? And we're in the thick
Yeah.
of it. We just did the home
Yeah.
visits and all this stuff. So it's like we can't do anything else right now. So I had to miss it, unfortunately.
Of course.
But it'll be worth it in the end. But yeah, it's not something I'm not supposed to talk about on social media or anything like that at all. So, but we are going through a crazy process right now to bring a new child into our home. That's
It's a worthy cause.
It's very
It's a worthy cause,
exciting.
brother.
I was really excited for her to share details with me yesterday, and I actually invited myself on your show to come in person.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was. I've got a room at your house now. Like, I'm excited.
Yeah, so
months
the spare
past
room here,
Christmas.
the spare room here is really big. And it's cleared out now. So
Yeah,
we're
that's what she was
starting
telling me. And,
Yeah.
I've been dying to see the kids.
Yeah.
They were sick, convention. I didn't get to see them. So,
Yeah, we all got COVID. In fact, we probably gave everybody at the convention COVID. So I'm sorry about that.
yeah, I went
Whoops.
years without getting it. And I was like, I'm immune to it. It's not going to happen. And I went home from convention and I was so sick.
You're welcome.
But,
My at the time 1-year-old son gave you COVID. Enjoy that. I apologize. We didn't know. We didn't know that we had a COVID 1-year-old when we got there. And then the worst part was I was running around on the floor the day of the election with Adric and Shiloh, who are my 2 heart children, and they both kept just a light little cough. They weren't sick. They didn't have a fever or anything, but they were running around with me all over the fucking convention floor to whip votes, and then. And it come to find out they had COVID. We all had COVID, dude. I actually never got it. I never got sick. I never had any symptoms at all. But my entire family, Julia, the baby, both our heart kids, Lucia, all of them. They all.
So
got
you were
sick.
asymptomatic.
I don't think I was never sick, dude. I never had a cough. I had no fever, no nothing. And it's funny because for the first year I was in Iowa, I was sick like every other month, bro. I don't know how many times I had COVID or whatever, but for the last year, every time my family gets sick and gets a cough and shit, I don't get it at all. Like I've been sick once or twice, maybe max, in the last year, and meanwhile, my son and my kids have been sick like every 4 weeks, every 3 weeks for like the last year, because we're like a big petri dish in the house. You know what I mean? And even the dog gets fucking sick and shit because there's like 9 people in the house and people get sick, and so it is a lot to take on, but it's a good thing. So yeah, somebody in the chat said they don't know why Trent's in jail, but he was arrested in 2000. Let's see, he was arrested in 2018 and given 5 years probation for, I think that was for burning a barn down or something.
Yeah, he did it too. There's video. There's
fucking
You're a real
pictures.
barn
That's a
burner
whole
of the
nother
party.
issue. And we all knew about that from the beginning, and we're kind of like, okay, he's changed his life. He's moved past that, and so he was on probation for that. So I'm assuming this has to do with a probation violation of that, but I don't know.
I mean, the timing with midterms is something that we can't overlook. That.
Right.
I don't know if there's
they're
a connection there at all, but
they're wrangling up boys right now.
Yeah. Jeiney, I wanted to ask you about Timmy Teigen. You said, do you know Timmy Teigen? It was picked up in Michigan.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just for everybody who doesn't know, he filled out a form, as everyone is required to do in the United States, where you do a background check when you purchase a firearm, and you have to mark on that form whether you use illegal drugs, including marijuana. If you answer yes to that, you're not legally able to purchase a firearm. If you answer no, that's great. If you're found out later at a later date by the FBI that you do use marijuana and illegal substances, then you lied on that form. That is the reason he was picked up.
It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
What a fuck.
He lied on an ATF
the
form.
Feds are going after. I mean, who
Correct.
has time for that?
Correct. Exactly.
Like, there's so
feds?
many horrible things going on, and that's what they want to focus on.
That's because they want to stop. They want to stop patriot groups from guarding the polls.
Of course.
Arizona was
which
the
they
main
do
case.
every year. Every 2 years they do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, like, I'm going to say it right now, because I know the feds watch my show, every show. Right? They probably hang out with like Michael Malice and Dave Smith and watch the show together. But I don't do any illegal drugs at all. Sorry.
Correct.
And so, Molon Laby, motherfucker. You know what I mean?
But Iowa is a constitutional carry state, so this is not legal advice.
You still have to have a.
But you would not have to fill out the paperwork for a concealed carry license and answer that question yes or no. You could just carry your property. That's your right.
Right. That's your right.
You don't have to fill out paperwork here.
in the state of Iowa.
That might avoid that issue if that personally affects you.
Yeah. Well, and it used to be. I mean, before they passed constitutional carry, which is new here, a lot of people don't know that. Actually, it's newer than Missouri.
It's very new,
was pretty new too.
Yeah, I think we beat Texas too.
Texas still doesn't have.
Did you?
What's that?
Yeah, ours barely passed.
Oh, you guys did pass.
They got it.
I thought it didn't pass.
I was in the House lobbying the day it was passed. Like, that was a huge deal. We were in the LP newsletter.
When did it pass in Texas?
A year ago, September. So that's when it was like official. It passed during the legislative sessions like 6 months prior. So a year and a half ago ish. It actually passed, and then it was official September 1st, I believe, of a year ago. But it was a really big deal.
Texas and
that
Iowa
happened, and then for the Libertarian Party to be there, we had, at least more than half of our executive committee was there, and all kinds of volunteers and members, and we were all, it was a big day we were having there, and that was not planned. We weren't there because of constitutional carry. We just happened to have that day planned for months, and it meant so much to all of us. We were so excited, and I don't know if. One of the Democratic congresswomen talked about it being, with constitutional carry, Wild West pimp style. And
I mean, that's what
let's go.
Yeah. Your terms are acceptable.
Top, get on making some Wild West pimp style shirts.
And it was hilarious. Like, you need to go look up on YouTube, Wild West pimp style constitutional carry in Texas. So for our next big select meeting, fundraiser, that was our theme. And we dressed up Wild West pimp style, and we had a costume contest, and we were celebrating our constitutional carry. It was so much fun.
Wouldn't Wild West pimp style just be like the fucking house mom, like at the fucking brothel?
Just
well,
like
if you look up the
reaching
pictures
into her
from
brassiere
that
and pulling
event,
out
that's
two
kind of how
pistols.
most of us look. Yes. Yeah. It was so much fun. So much fun.
Shit's just crazy.
That's
to me.
awesome.
It's just fucking crazy. But I think my biggest takeaway from the show is if you're gonna join an organization like this, shut your fucking mouth, dude. Just shut the fuck up.
You know,
the
little discreet.
you know the lawyers, the two lawyer brothers that smoke all the weed, and they're like, "Shut the fuck up, Friday.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. If you get arrested, shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
If you know, a lot of these guys could potentially not be in the trouble that they got in if they would just shut the fuck up.
Yes.
Honest to God.
They are telling them, a lot of them are telling on themselves. I'm not here to, like we were talking about this before the show. I'm not here defending what the FBI is doing. I think they've been weaponized against American citizens. Okay, 100%.
But
don't tell
FBI
on yourself.
Is the CIA for American citizens.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
Yeah, do not tell on yourself. They're looking for that. They're looking. If you get angry and you say something in anger, don't text it to somebody.
No,
it's digitally saved forever. I'm like, don't.
Yeah, they can take it. I mean, Apple, fucking Samsung, all that shit has backdoors for federal agents to go.
Yeah.
look through
Everything.
your shit.
Everything.
Think about it.
Apple doesn't anymore,
text,
right?
Say, it's all recorded. Everything
Yes.
is there forever. Everything.
Yeah.
Nothing is safe. Nothing is encrypted enough for
Crazy
it
to
not to be there.
Absolutely fucking crazy to me. Well, we're getting to the end of this public stream. Of course, we'll do the members only stream if Janae's down to do that. If you can give us about
Of course.
a couple minutes to close out here. But Janae, before we do get to closing out the public show, Janae, do you have anything that you want the viewers to know? Where can they find you, support you, listen to you, all that good stuff?
I mean, I'm kind of laying low on social media right now. I mean, redactedcaucus.org is there, and there's make donation contact. I don't update that website and often enough, but if you've got questions, you can submit a contact form there. I think my email's on there also. We're here, and that's kind of the point of the whole organization is we just exist. We're support.
Not the retarded caucus, like I said on the show, my first show with AJ.
I've been waiting the entire time for you to say that, and I was so glad you hadn't. And yeah,
I had to do it. I was like,
of course.
It was just even the people when I posted like the founder of the Redacted Caucus coming to my show on my Twitter, like everybody's like, oh, the retarded caucus. I need to make the retarded caucus. That needs to be a caucus because like we're fucking stupid and retarded, and like of course we need our own caucus. You know what I mean? So it's
Should
just
I
like
start the autistic caucus?
you're autistic as fuck, dude. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, I would do that if I was you.
The independent autist. Remember we talked about the last show.
Independent
the
autist,
independent
yeah.
autist.
Yeah, honest. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
you should. You definitely should, buddy. I have faith in you. I have faith in you.
I mean, to be fair, I would be able to get like half of all libertarians to join the autistic.
No shit.
Come on, man.
I do want to before we go out too, I want to say shout out to Quest Fanning for the $2. The only $2 super chat tonight. Thanks, guys. He said he George Floyded himself. I think he was talking about Trent.
Oh,
But no, he did not George
Yeah,
Floyd himself.
yeah.
no. He's still with us.
Yeah, he's still with us. He didn't make it out. He didn't make it out of the game like George Floyd did.
He
His
can breathe.
His family didn't get $27 million.
No.
All that good stuff.
He can breathe. He doesn't have any problem breathing.
Yeah, he can. He can breathe. AJ, you got anything before we take off tonight, buddy?
Go vote. Jesus, we're counting down here to Tuesday.
Tell
Go
them
vote,
what it
and
is,
if you're in Iowa, you can in-person vote Monday through Friday at your auditor's office. Yeah, downtown.
Well, not
8 to
West
5.
Des Moines, where our polling station is at a fucking church.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I mean for in-person right now. You can vote early.
Oh, you
Yeah,
can
so-
You can go downtown and vote in person
Oh, I
at
didn't
8
know
to
that you
5.
could do that.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
should.
Started October 19th.
I'll tell you guys, I am not a big fan of voting. I don't like to vote. That's not really my thing. I will vote on initiatives and
Sure.
feel really good about it. So like the Freedom Amendment.
Oh,
and
the
stuff.
Freedom Amendment. Yeah.
talk
Amendment 1.
Flip it
Vote
over.
yes on Amendment 1.
Mm-hmm.
Flip
There you
over
go.
your ballot. It's on the back
Flip
of your
over your
ballot.
ballot. Amendment 1.
It will nullify any new federal gun laws in the state of Iowa. It's definitely something that needs to be passed. So that stuff I don't have a problem voting for. But here's something that I'm definitely going to do. There is no Libertarian running in this district, but there is a Republican running in this district named Mark Brown that I worked with when I was going to run my campaign in the district next to this district.
Okay.
He is running against a vile piece of shit named Claire Celsey.
Oh yes.
And so I am going to go and vote against Claire Celsey.
Hell yes.
And I am saying right now, as the Libertarian Party vice chair, and I don't give a fuck which one of the losers gets mad at me, I am going to vote for Mark Brown, the Republican, just because of how bad Claire Celsey is. She's the biggest gun grabber in the state.
Yep.
She's one of the only Democrats that actually does anything on the fucking legislature. And she's also one of the several Democrats that go every year to try and take away our school choice freedom here.
Yeah.
And so,
follow her on Twitter. She has the worst takes
and it's not even
you've ever
close.
seen.
It's not even close.
She's
She is
so
the
out of
fucking
touch.
Worst, dude. And so I moved into her district in August, which gave me enough time to be in the district to vote against Claire Celsey. So I'm going to vote against her. And should Claire Celsey win, I'm telling you right now that in 2 years I'll be running against Claire Celsey.
Yes.
And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. And I will outwork and out-campaign her ass in this district. I promise you that. I promise you that. So should she win, I'm running against her. Should she lose and Mark Brown become my new rep here in my wonderful place of residence, I'll run against Cindy Axne for Congress.
Hell yeah.
She's the only Democrat in Congress from Iowa, and she won her last election by less than a fucking percent.
Well,
Yeah.
isn't she up for re-election right now?
Yes, but
Yeah, she's running right now.
I mean, it's too late.
Yeah, but she could lose.
She's the incumbent.
Well, she could lose. That's true. And if the red wave is as strong as they say it's going to be, there's a good chance she loses. But you also have to remember that she's the congressional candidate that represents Des Moines and West Des Moines and fucking Ankeny and fucking these are like the most blue. Like you look at the map of Iowa and everything outside of those are fucking dark red, dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
But those places are the blue as you can get. And so it's going to be, the fact that the last time she ran, she only won by I think it was 1% or 2%.
Yeah, I can't remember how much it was. It was a squeaker.
So that would be a really good race for me to run because I know I could cover the spread.
Yep.
I know I could cover a 2%, 3% spread. No problem. Easy. And I will pull from the independents and you know what I mean? I know I can do that. If I could cover that spread as a libertarian and get her fucking ousted and get at least a Republican in there, so we get another Republican and hopefully a Freedom Republican.
Yeah.
Which when I was going to run over in the other district, the senator there was a Freedom Republican that I was actually going to get to sit down with and talk to about getting an endorsement from as a libertarian. So they exist here. I need you guys to understand that in Iowa, there are some Republicans that are Freedom Republicans. They're the ones pushing this freedom movement. They're the ones pushing the Freedom Amendment. They're the ones that push for school choice. They're the one that pushed for healthcare freedom. We got people like Jeff Shipley and Senator Carlin and fucking good people here that it just happened to have won as Republicans.
Yeah.
Okay. So
they've had a lot to do with the Iowa Firearms Coalition.
Right.
They've the Republicans have pushed a lot of that through. So I mean, when you talk about issues and you talk about Second Amendment and individual freedoms, yeah.
And so we're gonna get off here. Mr. Ryan, sir, do you have anything to say to the people before we leave tonight?
I do not. I was pleasantly surprised that nobody spelled my name wrong in a super chat.
Nobody even said super chats except for Quest, and then
Brady
Brady Burleson just did another $2 super chat and said hello. So thank you guys so much for giving us your super chats. It really does mean a lot to us when you do super chats for us because it helps boost the show. It helps boost your chats. We will read them on air. So that's really cool. And then guys, don't forget that Monday, our next show is the last show the day before the election. So election day is on Tuesday, November 8th. November 7th, we have a show with 4 libertarian candidates from around the country, including very, very ultra-based Jeremy Kauffman, who was just on the show last week. Of course, my good friend Shane Hazel, who is my good friend, running for governor of Georgia, who got included in the debates and went up there and just fucking absolutely destroyed Stacey Abrams and Kemp. And I mean, to a point where He asked Kemp if he was going to apologize to the people of Georgia for locking them down. Like, he fucking went up there and just destroyed them. Stacey Abrams literally just had like this blank look on her face the entire fucking debate. Of course, my good friend Dennis Mizgoy, who's been on the show before, he's the Fed candidate who's running against Marco Rubio in Florida. Amazing fucking dude. Really knows his shit. Very, very good on monetary policy. Also, big firearms advocate. Just really, really great family man. Father. I'm very excited for his campaign to see if he can cover some spread down there and fucking, because Marco Rubio's a red flagger. I mean, he's a fuck that Republican. He's a rhino, right? Yeah. And then of course Matt Hackenberg, who's running for Pennsylvania governor, who would like to cover the spread of the Democratic, right? And try and at least get Pennsylvania like a nice Republican governor or something, because they're, in these blue states, that's the thing that I don't think Republicans get. They talk shit to us. Oh, you're just going to ruin it. There's some states where it doesn't fucking matter. Like New York. Why would you go vote for the Republican in New York?
Right.
That makes
Go
no
vote for
sense
Larry
whatsoever.
Sharp, you dumb fuck.
Yeah, you dumb fucks. You have Larry Sharp, who's covering the spread already, right? And,
As a write-in.
and as a write-in,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
he's got
as a write-in on the
he's got all these great policies that are going to make your state better, and he's got some of the lefties on board with him. He's got a bunch of the independents on board with him. You want a chance? Listen, it is not viable to think that your Republican candidate is going to win against Kathy Hochul. Okay,
Correct.
but it is viable to say, well, if we pull all the stragglers plus the Republicans and vote for Larry Sharp, we could fucking beat her. So you're telling me that we're stealing your votes? No, motherfucker, you're stealing our votes.
Yes.
And those are the kind of states, California, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, where my friend Mike Rufo said it best. He's from New Jersey, right? He said New Jersey doesn't have Republicans. He said we have progressives and we have far left extremists. There is no Republicans. The Republicans are progressives doing the speed limit, right?
Yeah.
And so it makes no sense if you're a fucking liberty, freedom Republican to vote for the Republican in those states. You're going to lose. But if there's a good candidate that's running as a libertarian, and I said this when I was going to run for state house here. Yeah. I have the opportunity to go around and knock doors without the fucking stigma of an R next to my name. Okay. And I get to talk to these people who are pissed off about COVID. That district I was going to run in was a bunch of moms groups that were mad about the way their kids were treated in school and all this shit. And they're Democrats, but the Democrats push for this shit. So I had the opportunity to go and knock the doors and talk to these people and be like, look, I'm not a Republican. I'm a libertarian, and I agree with you on that stuff. And this is how we could fix it. You have that opportunity, right? Like this Libertarian Party is no longer the fucking party of we must kill the Republicans. It's not. I'm sorry. It's just simply not. And there's a lot of people in the party that are pissed off about that right now. But there's a much better strategy now. And that strategy is win where we fucking can and try to get the worst person to lose where we can't. Okay? That's important. That's an important strategy if you're looking for freedom. If your principles are more important than your party status, then you would understand that that's the fucking way to go. It's not about we have to win at all costs, because we're not going to win on a federal level. It's just not going to fucking happen for a while. You know what I mean? There is a chance that we could, but I mean, it's a slim fucking chance, and people are laughing at us. But if we have an opportunity to spoil certain elections, we should. If we have an opportunity to help bolster a candidate that can win, that may not be in our party, but can actually win and bring more freedom to your state and get people talking about those ideals. Like if there was a Ron Paul running and one of my people were like, oh, I'm going to go run against him, I'd be like, fuck, I'm not helping you. I don't want to help you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you're going to fuck up this guy's chance of becoming a part of the Congress that's going to fucking go up there and call everyone in Congress psychopaths. You know what I mean? I just,
and who would fight against trying to turn that ship around towards
the
freedom?
old guard libertarians that suck. I mean,
loser brigade.
I'd shoot out Justin Amash for that on fucking Twitter.
Listen to this. Those old guard or libertarians, it's not like they know anything about strategy. Look, it's been fucking 50 years. What have they won? What have they won? They'll tell you that they had everything to do with gay marriage and legalizing pot and all this shit. No, they didn't. No, they fucking did not.
No, that was all.
Nobody gave a shit about them in the fucking 70s and 80s talking about these things. They were laughing at them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then in the 90s, the fucking Democrats started turning, and it had nothing to do with the libertarians and everything to do with them seeing the writing on the wall. You know what I mean? And so it's like there's strategies in politics that are important. I hate fucking politics. It's a dirty, nasty fucking game, dude. But if you're not willing to do the strategies that it takes to actually get more freedom, and all you care about is the party, then you're not cut out for this fucking game, because we're the Libertarian Party, dog. We're not legislating anything from the federal level right now.
Right.
Okay. And if we can push people into those positions that can legislate the way we want, then we can say we're doing something. Then we can say we're getting the wins, even if we're not. Right. But there are races I believe that we should be running in, and there's a lot of them, and we should run in those races, and we should try to cover the spread and fuck the other candidate, and especially in places where they're blue. Rhode Island, I'm stoked. You know what I mean? My buddy Elijah's running in Rhode Island for governor. Man, could you imagine he covers that fucking Democratic spread somehow and they get a Republican governor for the first time in who knows how long in Rhode Island? That'd be sick. Or what if he wins?
It's possible.
It is possible. In
It's
Rhode
possible.
Island, you only need like 700,000 votes. Max, dude. Okay? So I'm just saying, it's fucking, there's got to be some strategy game. I think there's people involved in the Libertarian Party now in leadership, national leadership, that understand strategy a lot better than what used to be understood in the party.
I agree.
And the people who used to understand in the party are fucking idiots and have never done anything and think that they're smart. And if I say that, the party's never done anything because of 50 years of bad leadership, they get really fucking mad at me, but it's the fucking truth. There's been a couple of really good leaders in the Libertarian Party over the last 50 years. I think Harry Brown was amazing. I think there's been one or two chairs that were really, really good on membership recruitment. Winning elections has just not been their forte.
No.
And learning how to push public policy has just not been their forte. And I think there's people involved now that have been fighting the culture war for several years.
Yep.
So we understand what the culture is. We're not just in our little libertarian bubble, like crying about things. We actually know the culture. We see the writing on the wall. We know how to work with people that aren't maybe necessarily on board with every single thing we have to say, to get our fucking ideals passed, because that's what it's going to take if you ever want to have liberty. If we just sat inside national conventions every 2 years for the next fucking 50 years, we would change nothing. Nothing. Now we have an opportunity to change it. People are mad about it that have been in the party for a long time, that wanted to keep it their little social club. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Go start a little
them
fucking
be
social
mad.
club. Go have fun.
I literally endorse Masters
cucumber-
in Arizona for Arizona.
fucking
Like and I wasn't
cucumber
going to. I was
sandwiches.
just like, my whole strategy for Arizona on this thing is, please don't let the communists win at all costs. That's all I give a shit about.
Yeah.
But then somebody came on and was like, "Oh, why don't you just fucking endorse Masters, you fucking Republican?" I said, "Oh, thanks for helping me see the light. I totally endorse Masters now." And it was a total troll. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But truth be told, like, are you so fucking stupid that you would rather have Mark Kelly win over Masters? Are you sure? Do you really think that's good
Right.
for Arizona, or are you just so fucking stupid and mad that the Libertarian Party isn't doing exactly what you want it to do, that you would fucking throw out every single principle you have to put in a communist leader in a fucking state that has machine guns, okay? Yep. And just because the guy has one or two things that you don't like about him, never mind the fact that he's read Murray Rothbard and is totally on board with Austrian economic stuff and fucking, has been.
And that's going to shift the Overton window. If we have a couple people in Congress talking about, hey, maybe we shouldn't be printing fucking trillions and trillions of dollars.
Yeah. I think I don't trust him totally, Masters. I think he's still kind of war hockey on China and some other things. But I've reached out to him and tried to talk to him about it too. So I'm a little more comfortable, and fucking, hey, there's no libertarian running that race anymore. He dropped out, and there's a lot of libertarians that are mad about that. But Mark stopped his campaign because he saw something that he thought would be good for his state. Okay? And the people from all over the fucking country are talking shit about him now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we're going to get out of here. Before we go, of course, check out our sponsors, toplobster.com, the man, the myth, the legend, my good friend and partner on Break the Cycle, where you can get this great 100th show anniversary shirt that I'm wearing tonight that has the art from every single person that was on any of the first 100 shows, all hand drawn by my good friend Top. You can get that for 10% off by using a BTC at checkout or joining the Patreon or Subscribe Star or becoming a member of the YouTube channel. Please do that stuff. Support the show. We do this shit twice a week, and we would appreciate your
Share,
support.
subscribe, do all of that.
Share, subscribe, like.
Although
all that
you
stuff
did
too.
mention earlier that everyone that has been on the show has had their face drawn by Top Lobster, and that is not true.
Why?
I have not.
Oh, well, fucking. We'll get him to draw you one of these days, I promise you. If you support the show financially, you'll get into a private Discord server where you can get all of Top Lobster's new gear up to 2 weeks before it goes to the general public at a 30% discount. Really great stuff. So do that if you can. And of course, executive producers of the show, anthemplanning.com, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Check them out today. See what they can do for your business, home, or personal life. They've been doing a wonderful job that the government has historically sucked at, much cheaper and much more efficiently. Guys, I'm going to start doing video ads for this stuff, by the way, that we can play in the middle of the show so the sponsors aren't just all bundled up at the beginning and the end of the show. We're going to start doing that soon. It'll be better for the sponsors. It'll be better for the show and the flow and all that stuff, too. Of course, check them out today. They help organizations solve unsolvable problems in the technology and HR arenas. Their team leads by example. Anthem consultants have led their own organizations through demanding periods of change. Now they help clients succeed in the face of technology and personnel problems. I almost said HR twice just because
HR and HR problems.
HR problems and HR problems. Let's be honest, there's a lot of freaking HR problems though. So I mean, it makes sense, you know. And of course, executive producers of the show for a little while still, Colwell Creative Content. They specialize in things in like SEO, website design, optimized website content writing, optimized blog posts, copywriting, social media content management, newsletter writing and design, ghostwriting and editing, services, resume and cover letter writing. They work with all kinds of clients, including real estate, addiction treatment, mental health, healthcare, banking and payment processing. They've worked with just about every industry, even libertarian political candidates and influencers, such as my good friend and mentor in politics, Larry Sharp. They've been in business since 2012 and worked with hundreds of clients. Check them out today, man. Let them help you get in front of your target audience. I promise you, they're great people, the Colwells, and they're going to help you do something great. I'm sure of that. And of course, new executive producer of the show, Blood of Tyrants. I will have a new. He made like a new graphic for the corner of the screen, which is going to look really cool. I'm stoked about that. But it won't let me get into the Google file tonight. I don't know why. Check out Blood of Tyrants wine, the official spirit of 1776. Tyrants are losing their heads over this wine. It is amazing Merlot. If you like some good stuff, check them out. If you go to bloodoftyrants.wine, you can get it by 10% off as well by using break, just the term break at checkout. It's good wine, man. I'm telling you, and you get it delivered to your door. Just can't be mad about that. So go check them out. Bloodoftyrants.wine. Use break at checkout for a 10% discount. Guys, I will see you on Monday. It will be our last Monday show, at least for a while, because fucking prissy boy over here is going to join a basketball league or some shit.
Yeah.
So he can't play on Monday. So we'll be doing the Monday shows on Tuesdays going forward. And then, like I said, me and Julia have to start taking this family class on Thursday nights. We don't know when it's going to start. I think it actually won't start till December. So we'll do Thursday night shows through at least until we start doing the class. Then we'll have about 2.5 months where we'll either have to do Tuesday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Friday. So we'll figure that out going forward. But the show nights are going to change up a little bit. I love you guys to death. I'll see you on Monday. Monday's going to be a great show. I'm very, very excited for it. I will see you then. But until then, don't forget to break the cycle.
Due to legal reasons, I just have to explain. The lyrics of my last song may seem to contain a violent call to action in the verse and refrain, but I just meant it in Minecraft. The helicopter part was in reference to GTA 5 and the things you do. So any violence you commit, I am not an excuse, because I just meant it in Minecraft. But Chipper is my friend and he's constantly cold. Accusations of incitement getting totally old. Make your own choices, yeah, you have control, because I just meant it in Minecraft. Obviously I would never advocate force, unless there's due process and a trial, of course. And if you're convicted, we will make you a corpse in Minecraft, just in Minecraft. Nothing I mean, you know it. No product finish gets it close.